Hi, it's your old friend Geri Atrik. And I've had many dogs, but in the last few years I have not. But I've had French poodles, Japanese Shiba Inus, Kerry Blues, a boxer, um, and the most famous one of all was an Irish Terrier by the name of Casey. And Casey, when we lived in New Haven, our milkman who had a farm up in Woodbridge, um, he raised Irish Terriers. And since we didn't have a dog, he gave us one of the puppies of a litter. And Casey had a mind of his own. You couldn't train him. He was a real Irishman. And he decided he only liked to chase police cars. He would, try to bite the wheels, and the police would stop the car and say, "Well, whose dog is that?" And as kids, we would always deny that he was ours. But anyway, Casey had like 9 lives and residences. Um, Eventually, we moved from New Haven back to Stanford and lived with one of my grandmothers. And Casey came with us, and he lived in Stanford for a while. And my grandmother died, and they sold the house and property, etc. And my mother moved into an apartment and couldn't have a dog, so she gave Casey to her sister, May. And May lived up in the country there, and she kept Casey for a long time. And when the years go by, when I got married, um, we lived in Litchfield after I graduated from college, and Aunt May gave Casey back to me, and so Casey lived in Litchfield and adapted very well. But in the meantime, a very good friend of ours in Washington, D.C., Peter Renahan, he had a litter of French poodles, and they were the king size ones. They were beautiful dogs, and he gave one to us. Well, we had the dog for, I don't know, 5 or 6 months or something like that. And Casey's nose was out of joint because we had another dog in the house. So, and I know he didn't do this on purpose, but one dark black night, and we're talking about a black dog, the poodle, um, and was raining, and I let the dogs out for a run, and the poodle never came back because a man uh, came to the house and said, "I'm sorry, but I hit your dog," and he's obviously dead. So that was the end of the French poodle. But Casey kept on, and from Litchfield we moved moved back to Stanford, and Casey came with us, and I can't keep track of the years, but I think Casey was around 17 when he finally died. But anyway, we ended up in Stanford, and we had a good sized piece of property there. And so Casey, had the run of his life, and that was until a friend of ours who lived in more downtown had a boxer, and they weren't really dog people. And he called me up and said, "Hey Jack, would you take this boxer we have by the name of Fraulein?" And I said, "Sure, we'll take it, help you out." And we didn't realize that this dog had a problem in that evidently she gave an odor off that other dogs could smell, that like she was in heat all the time. And of course, we brought her home, and Casey immediately, by then Casey had to be 15 or 16. And Fraulein sort of gave him a new lease on life because he was very frisky all of a sudden. But anyway, I think it taxed his heart too much. And, he had been getting feeble, but this pushed him over the edge. And we came down one morning, we found Casey had expired. And that was my favorite dog. And Fraulein, we gave back to the owners because we had all the dogs in the neighborhood camping out outside the door. So, and that's my dog story for today.